Hello, fellow YouTubers. Welcome back to the Trouble 8385 show. So tonight I was on Netflix, and I clicked on Torchwood because it was on there under TV, and I saw that they had season 4, which I completely missed. And I was watching some of that tonight, first 4 episodes, and the subject was so cool that I want to talk about it. The subject was, what if all of a sudden everybody in the world couldn't die? Now, births were still happening, and people were still aging, but you couldn't die. No matter what. If you blew up into a million pieces, you were still alive. What was cool about the whole concept to me was, how would this affect the world in general? How would some of the things you take for granted in life completely change if you knew you couldn't die? Wars would no longer be important because there's nothing to fight over because nobody can die. Saving up for things and the little things with the little time you have left would completely not mean as much anymore because you would have all the time in the world. It would also, I think a couple cool things that were shown in the episodes was like how the medical would change differently. Instead of treating the worst people first, they would treat the less injured people first so that they could get them out of there for the more injured people, because they knew the more injured people wouldn't die. And they also had the cool thing they brought up was about the fact that infections and diseases would drastically change, because instead of the person dying and feasting on the body and going away, well, the person's alive, it's still there, you're continually taking antibiotics because you can't die, and after a while that disease would be immune to it and it wouldn't work anymore. And so why that disease may not affect a human, imagine if that disease was to go on to animals and plant life, because I guess whatever reason it was only humans that couldn't die. Imagine how a lot of things today we take for granted wouldn't matter. Imagine that different things would be today if that were the case. Imagine how different. Like healthcare would have to have a massive change, and just everything in general would change for people if they simply could never die. Imagine having your kid and knowing that you're never going to die, you're having all the time in the world with them. Would that change how you treat them? Will that change how you treat your friends? Would your friends matter as much because you know you're never going to die, that the time you have together would change drastically with that person? It's just a cool topic after watching that show. Really cool. What if people would never die? So what's your opinion? What if you could never die? The worst part that they brought up about it is, what if you can never die and you get older and older to the point where you can barely walk or you could barely do anything, but you're still alive because you never die? Imagine being bedridden but you can never die, so you're just in bed, not able to leave the bed. Imagine being worse in bed, not being able to communicate somehow. Imagine how that would be. So just some cool thing I like to talk about, guys. So until I make another video,